Hey everyone, it's Littlelolikat here, and after some more questions, because I did do obviously the wearing outside, the kind of consent in public and wearing outside and how I personally wear outside video, I decided, because I keep getting questioned on it, that I would do another video on it but with a bit more detail. So the other one obviously just showed like clothing options that you can kind of get away with in public, and how to sort of mask it and stuff like that. So obviously, because I have done this, one of my biggest questions I get asked a lot is, do I wear outside? And I do. I don't do it a huge amount, but I do it every so often. It is, and has never really been a big thing to me. I walked outside wearing one day because I needed to go to the shops and I didn't want to go get changed. So I literally just walked down to the shops and back. I never really thought about it. It wasn't like an active planning thing, it was just something I did, like, without really having to worry or think. So my first sort of advice for people is, don't overthink it. If you're wanting to go out wearing, if this is a big deal to you, I think you need to take a step back, calm down a bit, and sort of remove yourself a bit from the situation, because when it's not a big deal to you going out like this, then you're not going to overthink things the same amount, and you may become extremely paranoid if you go out and you think it's a huge deal, because there's always going to be a slight rustle or something like that. Like I said, when I go out wearing, I wear pants, like big pants over the top, a pair of tights, and usually something over that. So it really does kill the noise. But, and you know, also avoids risks of flashing people. Or to some extent. Sometimes it happens still by accident, because I have been clumsy in the past, but that's like another point. But basically, if you're going to do it, try not to overthink it, because if you do, you're going to overthink every little thing you do. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of people that look at you or hear this noise aren't going to assume you're wearing. It's not an everyday thing for most normal people out there. Like, they don't come across it every day unless they themselves are AB, so you don't really need to worry about that. You don't need to worry about the noise that much, because people will assume you've either got some rubbish in your pocket that's making a noise, you're holding a bag that's making a noise, something along those lines. They won't jump straight to, oh, she's definitely wearing, or oh, he's wearing. But at the same time, you still have to be obviously respectful and mindful of others, because consent is key, and people in public haven't consented to be part of anything. And that's why I forced and really pushed the wear in public. Have little stuff in public, if you want, but always do it subtle, because it's easy to do it subtle. Like, I walk out in my onesies with my pinafore I'm wearing, and no one knows except me. And that's absolutely fine. Like, I'm not forcing this on others, but I'm still getting to be little around others, kind of, without them really knowing, or it causing any awkward questions with kids, or causing any damage in any way, shape or form. It doesn't go against the community in any way. So when dressing, obviously pick clothes and attire that are appropriate, that can hide what you're wearing. And the reason I say hide what you're wearing is because I have known and spoken personally to people who have been hospitalised because they were wearing AB products, and someone found out because they saw them and instantly went straight to, oh, paedophile, and beat them up, which makes no sense, obviously. But you need to be respectful, and you need to be careful for yourself as well as for others. And obviously there are people who wear adult diapers for incontinence reasons that don't have any choice, but even they tend to dress so that they can wear subtly. It's kind of that there's still taboo and embarrassment around it for people who need to wear. So we need to be respectful of that as much as, you know, for people who are uncomfortable with the situation, stuff like that. And I know a lot of people spoke to me about freedom of expression and stuff like that. That's why I have always said you can express yourself freely but subtly. You don't need to be in your face with someone about anything, ever, really. So, like, obviously performing sexual acts outside isn't acceptable. That's kind of goes without saying. We don't know who's there, no one's consented, there could be children, there could be anyone there that could be negative. So you need to think the same way as you do with ABDL, because you don't know how people will react, you don't know how people will feel, and there is a lot of people who instantly go to sort of child abuse sort of stages and stuff like that, and can be triggered from stuff like that as well. And ironically, in our community there are a lot of child abuse survivors as well, but people can go separate ways, and we need to be aware and respectful. So wear clothes that hide it. Don't be that person that walks around in something really thin that really shows it and then gets kicks out of it because you're making people uncomfortable. Because that's kind of goes against the whole point of consent in public. If you're making someone uncomfortable, if you've made someone, and yes, they may be uncomfortable because they don't understand and it's a xenophobic reason, but there's the sort of social etiquette you have to take into account as well. Now obviously, like I said, I wear in public. I run around in little clothes in public, but I dress accordingly so that I can get away with it. I dress the way someone my age can dress. I dress the way a girl can dress. You can get away with aspects of it quite easily. Like, if you're wearing thick jeans, they're going to sort of cut out like any noise. If you're a guy with thick jeans, will cut out the noise and people won't assume you're wearing. Now, when it comes to things like pacifiers, I obviously am quite a big fan of pacifiers. I do like pacifiers, but I also understand that you can't really use them in public. And I know people have them as comfort items, and if you have them as a comfort item, that's fine, but just try and keep them hidden, or somewhere you can touch them and find comfort in them without using them, without causing issues, because you don't know the negativity that someone's going to bring to that item. See, that's the problem. As much as it is about consent in public, it's also about looking after yourself. So you have to be aware of all the social rules and etiquette around it. I would say, yeah, if it's a big deal for you, you just need to sit back a bit and think about it, because once you stop overthinking it, you can kind of go, okay, this is reasonable, this isn't, this is what I need, this is what would be considered rude if I did it to someone else, you know, that sort of thing, going along those lines. And I would say, if you really are paranoid, like, start off with like incontinence or cloth backed, because they're quieter. If you're going to overthink it, you're not going to hear it the same, no one else will hear it and think anything. But obviously you don't have to. Like, I have worn rears out, which are loud, but I have found ways to mask the noise. All these like little steps you can take can make it more appropriate and easier for you and for the people around you. Because that's the point. That's the main point. When we're in public, we need to be respectful of those around. And I know, like on my last video, I had people being like, oh, why is this such a big deal, brr 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 brr. And the fact is, it's just because you have to be respectful to others. It's nothing else. Like, people who aren't ABs or DLs but are incontinent don't run around showing everyone that they're wearing. And we should consider it the same. These are your underwear. You shouldn't be running around flashing your underwear to everyone. People do not appreciate that. A lot of people do not appreciate that, and yeah, I know a lot of people have exhibitionism and get kicks from it and stuff like that, but you don't know who's around the corner, you don't know if there's going to be a kid or anything like that, and that's about the last thing you want to do. So I am hoping that this is helpful, and that I have covered a bit more than my last video did on it. and I will talk to you all later. Bye everyone.